Hi, everybody. Good morning. It is Friday, the 5th of April, 2024. And how are you doing? My name is Lisa Dublin, and I have a life. Let me just right here. Um, Hold on, let me just put this off on Instagram. So, welcome, Instagram. If you're watching me, we're not going to be very long this morning because I've got to run. Okay. I'm like, I have a run in me this morning. And when I'm done here, I will quickly jump on the treadmill, see how many miles I can do, then get the kids ready for school and all of that. Yeah. That's the life. It's very important that you take care of yourself. It's very important that you put on your mask first before you put on somebody else's. So I encourage all of us to do the things that matter, do it strategically. That is what I teach a lot of my clients as a life coach. How do you win? What are the strategies in your life that are going to help you to win? And are going to help you to go through this day, every single day, with that sense of purpose and that sense that I'm winning. I've got the strategies, the tools to win. That being said, one of the winning things that I love to do and teach people to do is to start with your affirmations. I am blessed and highly favored, above only and not beneath, the head and not the tail. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I shall lend and not borrow. I have nothing missing and nothing broken. And let me tell you something. It sounds strange to be able to say those things in professional spaces, but if you recognize that life is not just about what you see in front of you, we live in a multidimensional world. Yes, we do. And so, in a sense, I'm kind of doing, like back into poetry and all of that. In a sense, when you speak, you're not even speaking to people's faces. You literally are speaking to the spiritual side of things because that's where it begins. Hey, Liz says, good morning, my love. Yes, fitness and healthy living is number one. Without that, the quality of your life is affected. Absolutely. Let me put up that message. Those of you who are on Instagram, can I say to you that, you know what? If you go and follow me on Facebook or even YouTube, and the link is in my bio, you get a better experience, right? I kind of just change cameras too. So, it even looks better. So you get to see what I put on the screen. You can't really see it on Instagram, but if you go on Basement Chronicles on YouTube or follow me at Lisa M. Dublin everywhere on Facebook, LinkedIn, you get a better experience, okay? So let's go. Today I want to talk about what happens when your calling is not your day job. A couple of things. Let me just put up that my podcast for this week is out. I want to encourage you to go look at it. There it is. No, not that's not the one. It's probably this one. Okay, so I'm getting there. This is episode number 19, and it's called Finding Your Calling. So I want to encourage you to go find it on wherever you subscribe to podcasts, and go subscribe. Get into the podcast world if you're not in there already, because there's so much information. It's a font of value that's free for the most part. Mine is free. So go subscribe to Basement Chronicles, listen to the episode, write a review if you're on Apple for me. And or just email me back. Let me know. DM me. Tell me what you think of the episode. I'm so excited. Last thing before we get into the topic, I'm really excited for the next episode because it will be episode 20, and I'll be looking at books that changed my life. I've decided, and it was not an original thought. One of the people I follow does it, and I found it just an amazing idea that every 10 episodes you come to speak about books that have in some way impacted you. So, yeah, I did it at episode 10. And in episode 20, I'm going to be looking at this book, Think and Grow Rich. You guys know this book? Oh my goodness. Get the book or wait for the podcast coming out next week, Thursday, God willing, and listen. And I hope I will entice you to go read that book and to take a little bit of it every single day. Get the audio version, get the paperback version or whatever. And wherever you are, read it a little bit every day. It literally expanded my mind. And with a couple other things that I'm going to mention in the podcast as supporting acts, supporting actors and actresses in my journey, but equally important. Okay. That's a very important book. If you listen to most successful people, somewhere in the background, somewhere in the beginning, Think and Grow Rich planted a seed in them, as it did for me. Getting up there and doing big things. It planted a seed for me as well, and I can see why it takes people very, very far. So I'm looking forward to that next episode. But for now, go subscribe and listen to episode 19, where I talk about calling, which is what we want to talk about today. So, what if your day job is not what you know you were meant to do? Hey, Elsa, how are you doing? Saying hi on Instagram as well. What if that's the case? How many people here listening to me right now? You might be in a job that is holding you down, paying the bills, but it's not what you want to be doing with your life. In fact, you've discovered calling. You've discovered, I've got a big why. Maybe I want to help kids, or I want to do something in the world. I want to help athletes. I want to train people. I want people to be healthy. I want to teach people how to write or to speak, or whatever your calling is, your big why plus your gifts and talents. That's not where you are right now. And until perhaps about a year, almost a year ago, I was in a similar position, as in what I was doing was not what I wanted to be doing. Kind of like in a cheating position. Oh my goodness, why did I even see that? Hey, Alice, how are you? Good morning. Good morning to you. Looking forward to seeing you in Speak with Confidence very soon. You guys, Speak with Confidence is coming up. Have you signed up? No? Okay, no problem. But you need to sign up before the 2nd of May, okay? So here's the thing that I've realized about having to juggle being in a place that is necessary to stay in the moment, but having your sights set on something bigger, better, that would mean more to you to accomplish in life. What do you do? Your time management in a situation like that is supremely important. And it's not just a matter of finding the time to pursue maybe certification, education, experience, learning. It's not just a matter of doing that. It's doing it to such a degree that you give it priority. That in the time you have out of the 9 to 5 or the 8 to 4, you dedicate to going after calling in whatever form or fashion. You've got to have a curriculum. You've got to decide, okay, for me to get from point A to point B, these are the things that I need to learn. So I have to point to my example because it is the one that I know the best. During COVID, I realized I didn't want to go back to the office, and I discovered the love all over again for speaking, writing, and coaching, which was the newest piece in my puzzle. So I call myself an SWC, speaker, writer, coach. Okay. When I realized that, I got to work. I got to work by pursuing certifications, taking a leap, putting courses out there, learning how to do them, number one, and then putting courses out there, because I was like, what was fueling me was I am not going back to the office. And actually, my book is coming out later this year, and it is called I Am Not Going Back to the Office, because I feel like there are so many other people like me who are holding down 9 to 5s, doing jobs that are painful, almost painful, but want to be doing something else that lights up your soul and that you put your love in to a point where you become inimitable. You guys are going to hear me saying this word so many times because it's one of the overriding, I think, words of my business, of how I see myself, how I want to produce work in the world. Inimitable, unable to be imitated, unable to be put together the way that you do it. There will be pastiches, there will be copies, but you have to be. Hi, Eustacia. Good morning to you. Good morning. There'll be copies, but you have to put things together in a way that shows your love, your passion, that it is your calling, right? When I discovered that, there was a rearranging of my time. And so even while I was doing the normal things, having to do the 9 to 5 here at home, which was a blessing in itself, I also had to deal with weekends and before work and after work. And I have to admit that, yes, COVID made it easier, but when I really look back, I had already been on that path of waking up early, trying to, at that point, just do my writing still. And then it just increased to going after bigger things in the time that I had available. And so, if you know what your calling is, and you can go to podcast episode number 19, where I talk about that. Another great episode, if I may, from my own podcast, because it has helped me to keep me on track, is the one, I think it's episode number 7, Faith, Fitness, and Fire, where I talk about giving precedence and importance and pride of place and time to the things that matter the most and will move the needle in your life. For some people, it's writing. For some people, you need to spend the majority of the extra time that you have either writing, maybe it might be plays or poetry or narrative or whatever is so deeply you that if you just found the time to do it, you could get out of where you are and be in a phenomenally better place. That's where you need to spend the majority of your time doing it. Like that's what it is. That's what it is. So when your calling is not your day job, you don't give up the day job. I heard my one of my mentors from afar, Jamal King, the 9 to 5 millionaire, he's called. You can go check him out. He's part of the Eric Thomas team. And he said, let your 9 to 5 fuel your dream. I want to replace that with calling. Let your 9 to 5 fuel your calling. Now, when you really think about it, that entails a lot of staying in the space of dreaming. And how do you stay in the space of dreaming something that you have no proof of as yet, that is somewhere in the distant future? Number one, you talk about it. All of these years from 2020 up to last year when I made my shift, all of these years, this is, Eustacia says, this is so timely. Thank you. I hope it means something. Take your notes, girl, and go out and do it. I kept talking about it to my small circle, my husband, my boys, and I'm not going back to the office. I'm not going back. I didn't say it out there because sometimes you have to be silent and say things only to the right people. But I said it to the right people, but I kept on saying it over and over and over again. One day I'll let people see my basement because from one basement to the next, one of the things that I do is walk my basement and talk. It's not mad. It's what dreamers do. Ask anybody who's ever accomplished anything. I'm pretty sure there are these moments where they talk to themselves and say things to themselves to encourage yourself and to get that constitution up. Okay? That was me. I'm not going back to the office. You have to say it. You have to see it. I would be, because it was during COVID and we were home. And so I actually had the experience of having enough time to drop the children and pick them up from school. I loved that. I wanted to be the person to be able to do that for my children. I wouldn't have been able to if, I had to be in an office on somebody else's time. But that was the dream. And what fueled that desire was to put the systems in place to make it happen. One of which was the majority of my time. I've got 2 hours before work. I cannot be doing housework at that time. You have to be strategic. You have to do things at the time when they matter. Um, it's prime time is the time when you can't do anything else. It's the time when you can get the most results from what you do in that time. So I'm so always tempted to do housework at 3 in the morning. No, but if I do that, I can do housework when everybody's awake. What I can't do is be thinking and doing creative work when everybody's up. And I have to be wife and mom, and I have to be business person. I've got to be coach. No. Let that happen at the hours that are normal. When you are trying to be strategic and accomplish something out of the ordinary, you've got to learn to prioritize and to make your time count. That prime time for me was usually 3 to 5 in the morning. Can't do anything else. It's not time to be scrolling. Okay? It's time to be doing the deep creative work that I can't do when life begins to open up and the day begins. What about you? What is your dream? And where's your prime time? You want to move from just the regular job that you perhaps don't like to your calling. Maybe it's a business. It could also be another job. It could also be that you have your sights on another position within your company. Whatever it is, not everybody's called to be an entrepreneur. I understand that. But whatever you think is your calling, and you feel like the day job is kind of saddling you and holding you back, no, it's not. You need the 9 to 5 to kind of rein you in, to be able to fuel the certification, to pay for things, to keep things going while you get into the other work. What life requires of you right now is to just simply prioritize your time. Sis, with a little focus, you could go so far. My brother, as well, with a little focus, with a little putting aside and sacrificing of just the normal to be strategic for a season in your life, you will be planting seeds that will bloom into who you want to be. How about that? How does that sound? What can life look like if you have that kind of focus for the next 6 months? It will look awesome. Okay. So I want to encourage you to be strategic with your time. There's something that I like to say as well. You have to guard your time like a beast, you know. Nah, can't be answering everybody. And if I may even, and that's how you know that I'm, nah, you can't even be on every live. Not because you see a pop up, and in the first instance, when I'm in creative mode, I take off notifications. I don't need to be reminded of what I'm missing. I don't want to have FOMO, fear of missing out. So if I don't know what I'm missing out, I'm not missing out. Okay. When you're trying to accomplish something, it requires focus and a beastly kind of cutting off the distractions, and not beastly, ruthless is the word. And that's okay. That's okay. All right. Last thing before I go, let me tell you about you guys. Speak with confidence. Let me tell you about the program. So, and I probably need to remove the chat. Okay. So, speak with confidence. Have you signed up? I'm so looking forward to this cohort. It's coming on nicely. We have a couple more spots. You should be here. It's the only one for May. Okay. If you are seeing this on Instagram, you can go to my the link in my bio, and you can go straight to my website, lisamdublin.com/SWC, and you can sign up there. So it is a powerful 5-week program that teaches you and trains you and continues to train you even after in the art and science of speaking confidently and authentically. We're not just about just just having nice words and looking pretty. We go into content, and I go even deeper into, why do you want to say this? What's the point of view? If we can start from what you want to leave with your audience, then we can put in all the bells and whistles, because there are too many fake people out there, as opposed to people satisfying people's thirst and hunger for authenticity, for a thing that they have not heard before, in a way that they have not heard it before. And that way is you. People want to hear what you have to say. You only are the only person who can put it together the way that you can. You've got your tribe, you've got your audience. They mightn't listen to me, but when you say it in your way, with your background and culture and accent and look, they will listen. But you have to know how to do it. So I want to invite you to come in to speak with confidence. I'm only doing one cohort going forward, and here's the reason. Number one, I want the best people in the program. Number two, I've decided that the aim is to have confident and authentic speakers, to create like an army of speakers who are ready, and it's a speak with confidence graduate because of how they show up. And to do that, it takes time. So after you graduate from the program in May, you get enrolled in my continuous virtual classroom called the Speaking School. We meet once a month. We started already actually. And you know what? This month, the month of April, we are going to look at how to love yourself when you show up. A lot of people are so out of love with themselves that they focus on that hate, so they forget the message. So you can't just come and say to people, forget yourself and just focus on the message. No, in the speaking school, we go deeper to kind of address those issues of how do you just be comfortable with who you are. You guys, one of my favorite things to say is, and it came from my coach from afar. He doesn't know that he's going to coach me yet, but he is, right? He is, right? And he said, when you see somebody who has the it factor, it's usually because they are fully comfortable with who they are. Can I say that again for those in the back? When you see somebody who has the it factor, it's usually because they are fully comfortable with who they are. Your accent, your hair, your skin, your tires, bruh, just show up. Show up and be comfortable. And on that comfort level, you put your message. It's a winning combination. And the graduates of the Speak with Confidence program, they will all gather in mid-April to hear and to learn about being comfortable. So when they go out into the executive and professional and managerial positions, when they do lives and they go on TikTok, because we have the whole gamut of people doing great things, right? Then they will have the extra information and experience of being fully comfortable with who they are, because that is what the training will be in April. Those people who've already signed up for Speak with Confidence cohort 8 in May will also be invited to partake and to be part of the training in April. I'm so excited. Like, I just do it. Game over when you see somebody. Exactly, Barbara. Barbara, you should know about that. Do you have the it factor? I think you do. Exactly. When you see somebody who has the it factor, it's usually because they are fully comfortable with who they are. He said it on a podcast, and that's how I am. I went and I transcribed it and I learned it because it's going to be part of the speaking DNA for me and for my tribe of the people that I will train from now on, because it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And it has so much to mine in terms of what you present, how you show up when you are comfortable with yourself. Not just for to be like a voyeur, not just a voyeuristic kind of this is who I am, but because you know yourself and you love you, and that's what I'm teaching this month in the speaking school, then you put different elements of you into how you speak. Those of you who are immigrants and you are listening now, you do not have to sound like everybody else. You do not have to be afraid or embarrassed about your accent. What we do insist on, however, is pronunciation. What is pronunciation? It is being able to say these words in a universal way, a way that everybody can understand. That's all it means. It doesn't mean that you need to sound American, Canadian. No, it means that I'm pronouncing my words, articulating in such a way that people can understand me. That is as far as your responsibility goes. So you leave the flavor of where you came from. Your navel string is tied there. You can't even get away from it. And on top of that, you layer just the practice and the training that you can get in a program like mine. So I mean, I listen, you have to be sold on this. I'm not even, you have to be sold on this. And this is it. This is Speak with Confidence. Come in, learn, and stay here so that you get better. So, I mean, you really can't go wrong with a program like that, because we teach you and then we continue to build that confidence muscle. Last thing, people, before I go and do my little run, how you do one thing is how you do everything. My experience over 7 cohorts of Speak with Confidence is that people come in one way. A lot of them are already good speakers, but just in the art of coaching and in the spirit of what coaching is about, because I am a speaking coach, we move you from good to great. The evidence of it is that you are able to take on and go after bigger opportunities. Go on my website, lisamdublin.com/SWC, and you will see all of the testimonials. And that's not everybody, that's just those who chose to chronicle their experience. There are many more people in Speak with Confidence who've never said a thing but went successfully through the program. Hey, Sani, good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. So, yeah, that's it. There's so many other people who've moved from good to great. They've moved from manager to C-suite. They've moved from just simply being employees to having their own coaching programs, TEDx talk, sold out conferences. It's a confidence thing that is taught in Speak with Confidence. And it's not just confidence in being able to stand up and speak, because you're going to learn that. Because this program, the reason I've kept it small and I haven't like made it a mass program is because I am deeply concerned about quality, to the point where um, there are 2 people from last year who didn't quite complete the program because they were traveling. One person was not able. And I was like, no, no. For quality control, you will re-enroll, and it's on me. Don't think you're going to come and do that though, because like going forward, we have 1 cohort. It'll be for the best people. But because I so wanted them not just to, be have the numbers, but to have the experience, right? I was like, you are going to be in this cohort, clear the whole of May, and I need you present. We're going in. You're going to get what you paid for. The next Speak with Confidence, you are, yes, Annie, you okay. So that will be next year sometime, right? So I hope you join the program. DM me if you want to do it. Like we can discuss. Like, listen, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to kind of figure things out. Okay. So DM me. A conversation can change your mind about what you think is possible. If you really want to do this, you can find a way. That's how I know that's what has always happened for me, always being able to find a way when I so want it badly enough. And you want this experience because you're going to lose a whole year of growth and getting better if you don't start now. And if you do start now, you just get enrolled right into just continuous learning. You will continue to learn. You will continue to just reap the benefits of being in this program. So let's do it. Like it really is worth what you're going to pay for it. So thank you for listening, you guys, and wish me a good run. Like when is Speak with Confidence time? Because I mean, I'm in the middle of a launch. It's kind of difficult to like mind space and all of that. So my runs get shorter, and I have to really discipline myself to keep on exercising because my mind gets so full with the moving parts and all of that. So yeah, so I try to do it early, get it out of the way so that then I can give my all to the rest of life. Okay, here we are. Have a good weekend. Listen to the podcast. Go subscribe if you haven't. There's tons of good information and value in the Basement Chronicles podcast, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So, yeah, that hopefully will come through. And I'll see you next week for another live on Basement Chronicles. Bye, everybody. Take care. See ya.